All right, welcome to another installment of The Persistent Rumor. My name is Chocolate Yoda, spelled Yoddah, because film studios are litigious. And with me, as always, is my heterosexual life mate, John Cleta.
Hello.
Man, there is so much going on. I barely know where to begin.
Please.
It's mostly in my mind, but I'll tell you what's first and foremost on my mind. I don't know if you watched this show called This Is Us.
Yeah, I've watched it a few times. I haven't watched it in a while. I think I saw the last season, and they're supposed to be back soon, no?
Yeah, they just came back last night. I watched it today.
Oh wow. And
all I could say is this is season 5. Okay. Yeah. So this is normally where TV shows tend to jump the shark.
Yeah.
You know, it's just with television shows, very often there's this law of diminishing return. Mm-hmm. But I have to say the season opener for season 5 is I think it was, well, the way I saw it was 2 parts. Or maybe it was one long episode, I don't know, but they decided to take on both coronavirus as sort of just a setting, you know, just a reality, right, as part of their universe, and the George Floyd murder. And the way they did it was, dude, it catapulted this show into my top 5 of all time. That's all I can say.
And that's saying a lot, yeah.
You know, and I love films and television. I was telling my second ex-wife today, you know, I didn't have a father to teach me what men need to learn. And I wound up learning that shit from films and television. Mm-hmm. And so I pay very close attention to certain things, and maybe other people do also. I don't know. I'm not certain that I'm unique in that way, but I pay attention to certain things. And I will say, man, the way they handled these 2 topics, they shied away from politics completely. Mm-hmm. And the George Floyd thing was devastating the way they did it. Because they took what we know about one of the lead characters. One of the 3 siblings is Randall. He's the black one. He's right, the one that was adopted, not blood, right. But he was born on the same day as the other 2 siblings. So, you know, they came up a certain way, and the conversation that they had Randall have with his sister about the George Floyd thing was just emotional napalm, man. They just, wow. He just laid waste to shit with that kind. And it wasn't that he was angry or raving or anything. He was just coming from a very emotional place. And it was so moving to me, because I remember when George Floyd first happened, you and I did a podcast shortly after that, and I was just out of whack, completely, right, just thrown off, man. And it was, and you know, there was something about it, and we talked about it. It was the idea that, you know, not only were there several in a row in short succession, I think within a week there were 3. And, you know, there was the guy jogging that got murdered for no reason. There was, right, a Central Park, that chick, Amy Cooper, I think her name is.
That's the
Central
Amy,
Park chick,
yeah.
with Chris Cooper, not
right,
related. And George Floyd happened. And it was too much. Yeah. It was too much all at once. And to see that reflected through a television character and have it be so poignant was really, really powerful to me.
Yeah.
And it definitely brought up those feelings again, and those feelings for me are never too far beneath the surface. When you've got brown skin in America, you've it's like an albatross, it's like an anchor around your leg. It's just there. You kind of get used to it sometimes and you forget it's there at times, but it's always there.
Right.
And to see them take that on and do it in the best possible way was just so impressive to me. And after I was done watching it, man, I was just like, holy shit, like, what, they just give them all the awards, man. Just like, like I don't watch a lot of television, and I don't even watch that show on television. I watch it through apps and streaming and shit. But I just, of the television that I watch, nothing even comes close to this show. Yeah. It's just, it's so poignant. It's, and even down to the music that they choose. There are, most of the time, I find the music that they're using in the show, and it fits in so perfectly. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, there's no degrees of perfect, so I apologize for saying so perfectly. It fits in perfectly, and it is. It's this perfect interplay between what's going on screen and what the lyrics of the song are saying. There was another show that did this really well too, and it's sort of an unsung hero of television shows, partly because they ended so badly, but Scrubs. Scrubs had a penchant for acoustic guitar driven songs. Mm-hmm. And there were times where the song they chose for the episode brought me to tears.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't necessarily paying attention to it while I was watching it. It set the mood. But then I would look it up afterwards and playing on YouTube, and I was like, oh my God, this song's amazing. And, and I wound up downloading a bunch of songs that were on that show. And now what I do with the soundtrack to This Is Us is very, very often I share it with a woman I know, because she and I kind of are into that kind of shit. But it's it's really interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I love how music really makes a, whether it's the score of the film or TV show or just the music that they play in it, it always adds so much to the event. Like if you take away the score of let's say a horror film, right? It's suddenly not scary anymore. Right? Like if you just take away the score and any music that's going on and any sounds like that, I mean, aside from the voices and everything, it just takes away from that. It really shapes the film.
With one exception.
What's that?
Alfred Hitchcock.
True indeed. He was a master filmmaker though.
Yeah, he was not a master. He was the master.
The master, yes, indeed. But that's just it. Like, it's some people are visual, some people are all whatever the term for audio is. I can't think of it right now. Auditory. That's it. But they all play. They all play to our feelings because we have so much wrapped up in all of those senses. I'm the first one to tell you that, like, you put in a good song in a movie and I'm probably going to cry. Like if it's designed to cry, or I have overactive tear ducts. I don't know what's going on with me. Like I watch, a cartoon with my daughter and I'm like, oh my God, I'm a mess. Right. And she's too young to really cry about that because she does, like, I don't know if it's to cry. Like she cries because it's painful or whatever. I'll cry because it's a happy situation, and she never cries when something's happy yet. Um, to me, it's just about like, oh man, when I see like a really good act of kindness or something, like it just kind of restores my faith in humanity, and I cry because it's like, oh, there's good humans here. I love that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
there's two things that have come to my mind while you were talking. Number one is you sound like a gay. That's for starters.
indeed, but
but but I just thought about like, oh, you know why children don't cry happy tears is because they have no sadness to compare it to. You
yeah,
know, and that's a great thing, right? But
yeah,
you know, you can only cry happy tears if you understand what sadness is. You know,
true indeed.
like when my son was born and I cried because it was the most joyful moment of my life. You know, that was because for 21 years before that, I had a lot of fucking tragedy in my life and a lot of pain. And
Yeah,
so, you know, seeing this profound event, profound for me, very common for the universe. It spits out people all the time, but I've just spit out one person. So it was very profound for me.
yeah,
And, you know, and if it hadn't been for the 21 years that I had of struggle and sadness and, you know, child of divorce, raised by a woman who really not a good look. You know, so
oh my god,
that's all I'll say publicly. But you know, I didn't have you know, and let me put it into context. I mean, I my childhood had its privileges in that when I was 7, my mother remarried and he took us out of the ghetto and the whole thing. But that's all surface stuff. You know, on the surface, my life was great, but the emotional content of my life was brutal. And again, I won't get into the details right now, but it wasn't an easy childhood. So, you know, I had plenty to draw on when my son was born to compare that joyousness that I felt to the fucking train wreck that was my life. You know, it's actually quite it verges on miraculous. If I believed in miracles, I would say that it was miraculous that I'm not in a tower sniping at strangers. Because, you know, the way
good,
I was
Yoda.
raised, the way I was raised kind of was the recipe for that kind of thing.
You did good. You did good.
Yeah.
Oh,
So anyway,
boy.
back to film, like either films or television shows that were influential in my life. I have to recommend Scrubs, man. Like they had an uncanny ability, and Ricky Gervais has this ability also. They can turn on a dime emotionally. Like, you know, Scrubs is a very, very goofy show,
Right.
but it's set in a hospital
Yeah.
and tragic shit happens in a hospital.
All the time.
And you'll go from some goofy thing that happened and then boom, you get hit with some tragic hospital shit.
Right.
You know, and it's or some tragic human shit. Ricky Gervais does that. I mean, he did it in every series that he's ever written. He definitely did it in the film Invention of Lying.
Yeah.
Man, that scene in the hospital with his mother.
Yeah, that was brutal.
It just took a brutal turn.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. I was a wreck.
And this is what he's good at. He's good at misdirection. He's good at doing something that every other show does that leads to a funny thing, and then finding again, I'll use the word masterful way of redirecting it to a tragic thing and because we have this muscle memory, this pattern recognition, we're expecting a joke. And then he just kicks you in the nuts.
Yeah, no, constantly. And it's a brutal kick, too. It's a fucking, yeah.
It's a Rochambeau.
It's the horseshoe is made of titanium. It's fucking, it's nuts.